Hello again, chat. We hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to Melvor's second live stream. This time we are live from JagX headquarters, which is really exciting. But I'm not in the same room with Maux because I hate him. So today we've got the infamous Maux with us, the creator and developer of Melvor Idol, and I am your host, Straw Hat. We've also got Kurok with us here in the studio actually today. Pretty hype. Okay, are you gonna pop up? Nice. Okay. Exclamation point. By the way, exclamation point plus sheet. But with that in mind, we've got to jump in. We've got a lot of new things to share about Expansion 1. We're going to do a live Q&A, and we may even have a surprise or two for you. But first, I am tired of calling it Expansion 1, so Maux, please take it away.
Yeah, so we do actually have the name reveal for the expansion. So Expansion 1 is going to be officially known as Melvor Idol Throne of the Herald.
Woo! Let's go! Okay, we have the name, and now if you do exclamation X pack, it is going to work in the chat now. We have Throne of the Herald. So, who is the Herald, Maux?
Yeah, so the Herald is actually someone that's been teased in the very first set of lore in the game. He's been roaming around in the lore since around May 2020. So the Herald is this, I guess, someone that you've come across quite a few times in your combat adventure. As you've defeated Malx the Dragon, you were greeted by the Herald. He wasn't very happy with what you did. And as you've continued through into the Mist and Impending Darkness as well, especially with Bane, this is someone that has decided that they want to take control of the world. They're coming after you, and the entire expansion is developed around your journey to figure out who the Herald is and try and get some answers as to why he is causing as much destruction and mayhem as he currently is. So as you go through all the combat content, all the dungeons and all the Slayer areas, you're going to be greeted by tons and tons of lore detailing all of your movements and exact scenarios that you run into as you work towards finding out the truth of what's going on.
Amazing, amazing. In chat, I just want to say I hear you. Music's too loud. We're working on it. With that in mind, Maux, that's really exciting because the Herald, like you said, it's been around for a while. And you said how that fits more into the rest of the world for Melvor, right?
Yeah, the Herald has been a character that we've planned to add to the game for since the beginning, really. And now that we can finally actually add the Herald to the game and really finally come together about this character and show you exactly what we've been working with him and just how amazing it is. Yeah, really looking forward to releasing it.
Exactly, exactly. And we actually have a picture of the Herald to show you, don't we, chat? Let's see. Can we pull that up, please? Let's go. This is the Herald. All right. We're get some people are scared. Okay, chat. Let's see it. Pog, dope. We love it. Wow. Okay, we love the artwork, so that's exciting. Then continuing on, are there any updates on the combat front for the expansion that you can share with us?
Yeah, so we talked quite a bit about the combat aspect in the previous live stream, just discussing how the combat section was designed all around the lore that's going into the game. And we talked a bit about in the last live stream about some new tools and mechanics that you can utilize as you move through all of these dungeons. We do have, I'm pretty sure it's 7 new dungeons and 8 new Slayer areas, or the other way around, one of the two. And a couple of things that we are working on with the combat content is we're going to be exploring a lot of situational items, as well as a lot more item synergies. So a lot of the combat items that you will locate will have these brand new mechanics that will synergize and be better in some dungeons and not be as good in other dungeons. And you're going to get a lot of set items in the game. So items that will synergize, say you get like a weapon and a ring, or like a couple of like 4 sets of gear or something. Having all of those equipped at the same time will unlock another synergy for you, so you can use it to your advantage. I know a lot of people have been asking for more combat synergies, and with the system in place, it's something that we really like and has opened up a lot more sort of potential builds, a lot of different builds. There's not one right build for the expansion. You're going to find a lot of items where it goes, yeah, this would be really cool to add to my build, or I'm going to use this mechanic to my advantage, or that kind of stuff. And we're really looking forward to really seeing how players take this equipment, see what builds they do come up with, and see how they exactly move forward in the expansion with it. We've coming with like the astrology or the summoning or anything like that. A lot of the new mechanics we're introducing are basically tools for your disposal. They're not necessarily massive damage dealers. It's more about what effect they have, what special attack they have, and
Mhm.
how you can synergize those special attacks with all the items that you have. We have like 100 new special attacks or something coming for you to look at, or like 40, 50 new passives for you to really use to
Mhm.
your advantage. Yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff in here, and yeah, I think the best part about the expansion when people do go through the combat content is there's not going to be a right answer as to what to use. We're going to get a lot of questions saying, what should I use here? What should I use here?
Mhm.
A lot of the answers
Mhm.
will be, there isn't a right answer. You can get this from here, you can get that from there. And it's really something we wanted to promote moving forward with the game.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that the chat will be very excited about that. They're still, popping off hearing about all the new exciting bits that we have for the synergies, the new systems, and the mechanics you have in place for combat.
Yep.
Then, what about non combat? One of the most exciting parts of the last stream revolved around sort of the changes that were coming to that. So, what can you elaborate there?
Yeah, so a few things for the non-combat aspect. Firstly, I'll touch on the astrology rework. So I know a lot of people have been wanting to know exactly how the new astrology works. So how about I let you know now? I mentioned in the
Please.
previous I mentioned in the previous live stream that astrology is getting reworked. A lot of complaints and concerns around astrology is the RNG aspect of it. A lot of players didn't feel like it was fun. It removed from the playing experience. Constantly re-rolling just didn't really have that good of a place long term in the game, and we saw that. So we've adjusted astrology. What's going to happen here is there's no more RNG in astrology. Astrology will work exactly the same where you don't require any external resources for it. However, there's no more rolling for bonuses. Every single bonus that you have in astrology is going to start at 0%. And what you do is now you spend Stardust to increase the value by 1% up into its maximum value, meaning yes, you can complete astrology. You don't have to roll for
Woo!
anything. The modifiers that are set in stone. It's not a random modifier you get, so everyone gets the same modifiers, and you can use those to your advantage. Um, Another thing with the astrology rework is we had to really consider what kind of bonuses to give people, um, and it was quite hard to because there's um, a lot of things in astrology where you have a
Mhm.
lot of modifiers that you can roll for. So some of them did make the cut for the rework.
Mhm.
However, we do have combined modifiers where, for example, the first standard modifier that you'll see that's unlocked is a double modifier where it'll give you plus XP and maybe plus interval. So you get two in one. So that was kind of a way that we could incorporate more modifiers into it while keeping the 6-star system. Um, so I think with that and having no
Mhm.
RNG in astrology, I think moving forward, that's what people would probably appreciate a lot more. And for those that
Mhm.
are wondering, when the rework does hit, you will have, let's say, your modifiers wiped, so they won't exist anymore. However, we are providing a full Stardust refund to you. So all of the Stardust that you
Mhm.
did spend on astrology, you will get back when you load into the update. So you go straight into there. Everything, all your mastery levels are kept, all your skill levels are kept, and you can go back in there and just upgrade everything as you wish.
Everyone is popping off in the chat. They were like, "My Stardust, no, I spent it
Yeah.
all." Yes, you're welcome. It is epic. We're gonna be kind about it. It'd be pretty rude if we didn't.
Yep.
And then with that in mind, we have some new mechanics coming to mining as well. You touched
Yeah,
on
we
it just a
do.
little bit last time, but let's touch on it more.
Yeah, so mining has a couple of new mechanics. We took mining, the concept of mining, and we thought, okay, what can we do differently with it? I do like the concept of mining where you mine a node to depletion and then it respawns over time. I think that's a pretty cool mechanic. But for the expansion, we've kind of looked at what else can we do. And one thing that you're going to see in astrology, one thing you'll see in mining is that you're going to come across some new gem veins. Now, gem veins act as kind of an infinite source of gems at your disposal. as you're mining some of the new ores that we're implementing, you're going to come across a random gem vein. And this random gem vein will be either a small, medium, or large one. And this will add some HP to the gem vein node that you can choose to mine whenever you want. There's no maximum HP limit on it. And when you mine these gem veins, all you're going to get from it is gems. So it's kind of like a new source of acquiring gems for the expansion, but you do still receive gems from your standard mining action.
Awesome. Awesome. Then, with that in mind, something that I'm very excited about are some new mechanics that are coming to fire making. So, what can you share with us there?
Yeah,
Aid my
fire
existence.
making.
Just kidding.
Um, By far everyone's favorite skill. It is the most intense, exhilarating, and fun skill I've ever seen in Melville. Um, so what we're doing for that is we are adding some more mechanics to fire making to make it just a bit more interesting. There is a place for fire making somewhere. In its current state, fire making is quite boring. If you're going to be leveling to level
No.
120, I'm sure people get to level 101 and go, yeah, no, this is boring. Why am I burning logs? What uses are giving me? So a couple of mechanics we're adding, and these mechanics are for every single person playing the game. These come to pre-99 as well. They're not exclusive to the expansion. Is that you're going to be able to acquire some new materials. Well, not new, but you're going to be able to acquire some materials from fire making. So certain fire making actions will produce you a new item called ash, and this ash item can then be converted into what's called an urn, and these urns will provide copious amounts of prayer points to the player. Another
Ooh,
thing that people will probably appreciate with the new fire making is that you can now get stardust from fire making. There will be a mechanic in
really?
there. Yep, there'll be a mechanic in fire making where you can burn logs and actually get stardust in return. We've also got some new unique items to fire making that will boost its actions and what you can get from it. And we also have a new woodcutting ability, an item that you can find that will let you cut trees and earn fire making experience at the same time.
Wow. People are going crazy for this rework right now. They are very, very excited.
So it's not really a rework, it's just more adding on to the
Fair, fair,
existing
fair.
mechanic just to give the players a bit
Not a
more
rework,
for what
guys.
they're actually doing.
Yes, of course. Of course. People are excited though. Silver especially. He's calling you out for using the word copious, so
But yes,
then
that I did see some people questioning this. The urn,
mhm.
it is an item that you can make. There's 3 levels of urns. You can get them pre-99, so this is for everyone as well. These urns are basically things that you can store your ash in, and then you can just submit them for prayer points, like 1 or 2,000 prayer points or something. So you are getting something out of fire making.
Wonderful. Wonderful. You hear that? The Stardust, yeah, the Stardust about to become insane. I agree, chat. I agree. Then we're gonna take a little pivot there, and we're gonna go and speak a bit about Township, which is something that I am also very, very excited about. One of my favorite upcoming parts of the expansion, actually. And as a reminder, chat, Township Part 1 will be available to all players when the expansion drops in Q3. And Malx, I believe that we actually have some new things to share with that and a few surprises, hopefully, if chat participates properly. So, first, let's start with a basic refresher course about the mechanics around Township.
Yep. So for those that didn't tune into the last live stream or may have forgotten about it, Township is a town building simulator inside Melville Idle. It's one of the biggest and most comprehensive skills that we have added to the game to date. So in doing this, there were quite a lot of challenges that we faced with adding a literal town management simulator to Melville. The first one was, how do you incorporate that into Melville Idle? How can you possibly have a town management simulator that goes that's in line with the development philosophy of Melville Idle? So a few things that we're doing is Township can provide you some mechanics where you're able to convert resources to and from Township. So what you'll be doing with your town is that they'll be gathering resources like wood, food, or all these kind of different materials that you'd see in any other town management game. These resources can then be converted out of Township into your bank for various amounts of resources in the main game, so it can directly benefit you. What you can also do is that you can benefit your town by doing it the other way. you can go and get resources and then convert those into township and help your town grow a lot faster. I think utilizing that kind of mechanic where you actually have a physical town with you and helping you, that you should be able to benefit from that, and all the resources that they gather, you should at least be able to get those yourself. Another thing that we're looking into is, um, oh, what was it? So I had a bit of a mind blank there. Um, Pratt, what was it?
We
What
love
was it?
it. Pratt,
Oh yeah,
go.
that's next. That's off script.
Get him. You're not the host, Pratt.
Yeah. Well, I guess mechanically and how township actually works is that it is a passive skill. You don't have to stop any skill to train it. And the hardest challenge that we've had with township is how do you have it playing behind the scenes while you're doing something else? A couple of things that we ran into during testing it is
Mm.
not everyone's going to want to be looking after their town all the time. You don't want to force a player to log into the game and go into the town and look after it as it's continuing to progress, because things can happen where you run out of food and your town dies because they have no food. You run out of resources, run out of things that they need to survive. But a player that's playing Milva Idol won't necessarily want to babysit that because of how complex it is. They just want to log in and sometimes ignore Township. So what we've decided with Township is we're going a little bit different with how the offline time works, where when you're offline, you'll earn what's called like offline credits per se. We haven't got a name for it, but offline credits for Township. So when you log in, those will accumulate unlimited. You don't have a limit of how many offline credits you can get for Township. And then when you're ready to start doing Township, you can go into Township and then fast forward it in like 10-second steps or 1-minute steps or 1-hour steps or 1-day steps, that kind of thing, and do it at your own pace. So Township won't necessarily be continuing in the background 24/7. You can go into it whenever you want and do it whenever you want. It's not a requirement for you to log in and do something about it. And that was really important when we were playtesting it, because I felt that at the start of Township when we were playtesting it, we really liked the town building aspect. Like we love logging in and we going around like the town is working, and we'll go in and fix it up every day while playtesting. But one thing we found is that sometimes we'll log in and we ran out of food overnight, and our whole town died. Everyone died.
Someone in chat said they were gonna let everyone starve because they're keeping their carrots. So
Yeah, we didn't want Township to be a chore. We don't want players to be forced to do it straight away. We want players to be able to do it whenever they want, because I know like not everyone will like, I guess, a town management simulator, but I hope the way that we are going about it, they will enjoy it at their own pace and they won't feel left behind if they do leave it sitting there.
exactly. Exactly. And so that was a lot that is going on with Township, and that's only part one. We still have part two to get into. But one of the new things that I know people will be really excited to talk about, two words, skilling outfits. What can you tell us about those?
I've seen a lot of requests about players wanting skilling outfits. So yes, Township is incorporating a mechanic where you can build buildings that will sell you items. You can build buildings that will sell you pets. And these can be, when you build a building, you can purchase these from the shop. And one of the things that the town can make for you is skilling outfits. So you can get 4 pieces of woodcutting outfits at a cost, and then each piece will provide a benefit to woodcutting. And then I spoke previously about some new item synergies. So when you have the entire skilling outfit equipped, you have an extra bonus. Now these bonuses are very simple, like skilling XP and mastery XP, but they're designed just to help you, I guess, level the skill a lot faster, and just give you that little more edge. We want to have something for every skill, and I think these skilling outfits will be really good to fill that gap.
Exactly. And people are so excited. Snap. Look, I already don't have enough bank space as it is. That's part of the game, guys. That's part of the game. We love it. Okay. And then one of the coolest things about Township is the level of detail. So, are there any other mechanics that you could touch on regarding that?
Yeah, so there's 2 mechanics I'd like to talk about. One of them, quite briefly, is a task system that we're trying to implement. Still working on minor details for that one, but the idea here is that the town will give you tasks to do throughout the entire game. Just real
Mhm.
simple, like quest style tasks. And doing these tasks will unlock more things in the shop for you to purchase. We are toying around with the idea that the skilling outfits will be locked behind the task system. However, that isn't confirmed at the moment. Once we do finish the task system, that we'll go through and playtest and make sure that is actually the right call. But we
Mhm.
want the town to give you things to do outside of the game, which will then directly benefit your town in the game while also providing you with rewards for doing that task. And these tasks will just sit there waiting for you to do them whenever you want. Another mechanic that we're looking into is the worship system for Township, where the first thing that you will be doing is determining one, what your town will look like. So there's 8 or 10 biomes. How many biomes are there? 8. There's 8 biomes that you can build on, and each biome will have a different, I guess, benefit for a building, or each biome will have like a different benefit for a building, or certain buildings can only build on a biome, and you can generate your own town as you please. Um, so everyone will have a unique town. Another thing that you determine is the worship. You'll choose one of the 4 gods to worship in your town, and each god has a set of modifiers for your town. And you can go through the game building buildings that will help with your worship, kind of like a mini mastery pool thing where you can build a bunch of buildings that increase the worship and how much you do worship the gods to unlock even more benefits for your town. I think it's a really cool mechanic that adds a little bit of flavor, and having
Mhm.
the gods incorporated into the actual town, I think is pretty cool to see.
It is really cool to see. And I'm really excited to see how all of those come together because I believe you said before not to jump into Township Part 2 too early, but then that's when combat will come into it and how
Yeah,
people choose which god they're worshiping.
worship's going to be quite important for Township Part 2
Mhm.
because you're going to have some situations where a neighboring town doesn't necessarily worship the same god as you, and they won't
That's
like
some
that.
problems.
So
Nope.
some problems that you have to resolve in part 2, but for now, yeah, just simple
Ex
modifiers at this stage.
exactly. Okay, chat, this is when I actually need your help. So, I mean, if you want to help. So, we're going to try something. Spam ones in the chat if you would like to see any of the artwork that we have for Township. If we get enough ones in the chat, we will share an image with you. I'm seeing some ones. I saw a 2. You're a troll, Shogun. Okay, lots of ones. I don't know. Maybe, I don't think you guys really, it doesn't seem like they want to
For
see it, does
every
it,
for
Mouse?
every non one I see, the expansion's getting delayed by another month.
Yikes, guys! You just really don't want this expand. Maybe we should just end the stream, and they don't
I see a
seem to really
3, I
want us
see a
here.
9. Yep. So
Okay,
2026
okay.
at the moment.
Yikes, yikes. That was a 42. All right. It seems like okay. They seem to want it. Let's give them a little crumb. Let's give them a crumb. Let's show them a building. Let's show them a building. All right, Max, walk us through it. What are they looking at?
All right. So as you can see, written on the building here is this is Malk's Cats. I spoke a little bit earlier about you being able to buy pets from the shop from buildings that you build in township. Malk's Cats is the reputable supplier of cats. So when you build it, you can go to the shop and buy yourself some cats.
Because you always need cats.
Yeah, you always need cats. There's never enough cats.
There's never enough cats. Okay, that's pretty pog. That's exciting. And I'm really jealous that it's not my building and that it doesn't say Straw's cats, but you know, it's fine. I'm gonna let it go. Then let's see. Is that all you guys want to see? Chat? Like, do you want to see more? Do we have any more ones to share? Any more ones? Let's see. See more. I saw another 2. Troll. Okay, okay. Maybe they want some more. How
Yeah,
are
I
we
think they can
feeling?
do a
How
bit
are we
better than
feeling?
that. I think we can get some more ones in chat.
Straw's mug shop. Yes, please. Get okay, never mind. Okay, off topic. Then all right, okay, let's be nice. Let's show them a little bit more. Let's show them a little bit more. Okay. Now,
All
what are they seeing,
right.
Maux?
So, a couple of buildings here that you can see. I hope you're all starting to get the general idea of what the style of township is going to be. Little cute buildings that you can build. So what we have here is at the top, top left, we have a few houses that you can build. So these will increase your population cap of your town to get more people to actually move in. We have a blacksmith in the top right. You can see that there's 3 tiers of a building. So you will be building basic tiers of these buildings. I'm going to get sick of that word in a second. And you can upgrade these to produce more resources. I spoke about the worship system in Township. You can
Mhm.
build statues for your specific god that you choose. And just for
Mhm.
those that want to know, you don't have to pick a worship. You don't have to choose a god. You can go without them. But please pick one. So you can only build the statue of the god that you chose. You can't build another god. You can't build an Ares inside a Terran worship. That's not a good idea. Yeah, so we have just a bunch of little buildings here. Middle right, we have woodcutters camps where you build those and they'll get you some resources and wood logs. At the bottom, we have some schools. We have a chapel. Yeah, so just a little variety of what kind of buildings you're going to be building in your town.
Exactly. And this is just a small sneak peek. We've got a lot of buildings, but we're not going to show you anymore. So this is all you're getting for now, but everyone seems really excited. But
For
one
those
question real
wondering,
quick.
for those
Yeah, can you
wondering,
switch the gods?
I think
Sorry.
uh no, well, technically you can switch the gods, but if you want to switch the gods, you have to start your town again. You
Oh,
can't you
rip.
can't just change what your god is, because technically if
Truth.
you do that, the town's not going to like it. They'll destroy the town. You can start again anyway. We've
Okay,
got we've
there it
got
is.
how many buildings have we got in township? Like 70, 70 or 80 buildings or something. Yeah, quite a
Mm,
lot to choose from.
a lot to choose from. Okay, very, very exciting. Okay, and remember, guys, if you have any questions for the live stream, what you're going to want to do is you're going to put it in a chat. Go ahead and say at Melvor, and we'll be answering those a little bit soon. But first, we're gonna before we go into that Q&A section, I believe there is one more thing that you wanted to touch on regarding the UI pet peeves thread that you posted on Reddit a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a month or two ago, back in June, I posted something to Reddit. I spoke about this in the recent changelog patch notes where I put out the call to everyone saying, oh, what's your biggest UI pet peeve? Like, what really annoys you in the game that just really grinds your gears? So I'm just letting everyone know that we are going to be trying to fix as many of those pet peeves as possible. We're totally with you where the UI needs to be more consistent. There needs to be more quality of life. A lot of things that we haven't necessarily had the time to implement working on the expansion, but we want to get as much of that in as possible just to give you guys the best experience as possible with Melvor. Like some stuff that we're implementing is like a mini bar type thing for combat where you can assign pieces of equipment to specific equipment sets or slots, I should say. And rather
Mhm.
than going into your bank, finding the item, and then equipping it, you just have to click on the equipment slot in combat, and your selection will be right there, and you can just click it. So you can quickly change your items as you see fit.
Mhm.
And you can set any equipable item to the slot that it equips to, and you can choose what you want there, and you can choose what they are per equipment set. So you can have say a melee equipment set 1, and you only have melee helmets, and then you move to ranged equipment set 2, and you can set ranged helmets on that one, just to give you a lot more quality of life in combat, especially with the gear swapping, because that is gonna, I guess, become a bit more prominent in the expansion,
Mhm.
especially as you go through combat, and we want to make sure that you can do it in a way that is seamless. But
Wonderful.
that's just one out of many things. And if anyone wants to know, we're going to be adding agility sets. You can save your obstacle courses. You can
Ooh.
predefine what they are, so you can quickly go back to a specific setup.
Okay. Exciting. All right. And when is it coming out? It's coming out Q3 chat. Okay, we're gonna dive into questions though. I see a lot of people have been putting their questions, which is very, very exciting. I also see some people answering questions for me. Love that. Everyone's after my job. Okay, then with that in mind, chat, it's time for the live Q&A with Maux. If you got a question, go ahead and type it into chat. We're gonna do our best to go through as many as we can in the next 20 or so minutes. Um, with that in mind, we're also going to be phoning a friend, I believe, for. for these questions. Okay, cool. All the questions are coming in, and we are. Let me pull up my little spreadsheet so I can see what you guys are saying. And all right, first off, our first question comes from Wobbling Octopus. Wobbling Octopus, and it says, "Can you switch astrology modifiers freely afterwards? Are there presets?"
Astrology modifiers are set in stone, including the order you unlock them in. Every single person has the same modifiers as you progress. You can choose what to level up when you want, assuming you have the mastery level for it. But when you do put, say, 1% into one of the stars, you can't take that away. You can't refund that point and then put it into something else later. So what you choose is set in stone. So just be sure to make the right choice because you can't refund that. I think giving players sort of a decision that would impact them right now that they can't kind of go back on a bit later. I think being able to refund was a bit too easy. It wouldn't really make it that interesting because you just like be refunding and changing it all the time, which you find now, and I don't think that's what people would want. You just spend your Stardust, increases it permanently, and you can't refund that.
All right. All right. Then our next question comes from Bunsy the Frog. And it says, will the gym vein work with the gym gloves?
Does the gem vein work with the gem gloves?
Calling a friend.
No, it
No,
does not.
you heard it here.
Um, I'll probably also mention that we have new gems coming out as well for the expansions. There is I'd say 5 new gems coming out. But no, the gem gloves don't work with the gem veins.
Okay. Too bad, so sad. That's what chat's saying. Exclamation point
So
prat
what?
check.
Yeah, the idea behind that is that you'll be using the gem gloves to find gem veins. So you're earning gems while doing that, and then you just go and mine the gems anyway if it gets double the gems.
All right. You heard it here, chat. You heard it here. And keep those questions coming in. We've got a lot of them. So, next question is coming from Van Dussel. Van Dussel. And it is, will Township stop me from wearing a max cape?
Undecided. We've had this discussion quite a bit. Township is a skill that's going to take time to complete, and adding a skill to the game that takes time to complete and then removing your max cape because we've released a skill that takes time to complete, we're leaning towards no. Sorry, hang on, what was the question? Can you equip it? It won't
Yes,
remove it. So what? Now, let me clarify. At this current stage, the addition of Township will not remove your max cape. You can still wear it. Just because of how long the skill will take to complete, we don't want
Mhm,
you waiting that long just to re-equip it. We don't think taking that away
mhm,
from you is the right thing to do.
mhm. All right, you heard it here, Van Dussel. You are safe. No worries. Then our next question is going to be coming from Aqua Rin, and it reads, "Can you convert materials from your bank into Township?"
You can, if you're doing only certain materials that will relate to the resources you can get in Township. However, it's not a method to save bank space because there is a convert ratio. So a certain amount of,
Mhm,
say, normal logs will convert to a certain amount of wood in Township, and that's the same coming out. So a certain amount of wood in Township will produce a
mhm,
certain amount of normal logs as you get it out. So it's not another storage facility for you to move your items to. It's mainly there
yeah,
so you, as a player, as you work through the game, can directly assist your town if you have been training the other skills.
exactly. You heard it here, chat. We are not giving you any free bank spaces.
Well, that's not.
That will not.
You never know.
Oh,
You never know. If we're
oh,
adding,
okay.
if
Spam
we're
ones in the chat. No, I'm just
adding,
kidding.
tell you what, one thing I didn't mention that this expansion has like 640 new items or something coming out. So bank space is something we're going to be looking at. So never say
Okay.
never.
Okay. Wow, chat. That's actually really exciting. I don't want to see any more complaining. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, okay. To keep it moving. Our next question actually comes from Foxy. Shout out to Foxy, off topic general. Okay, so are there any plans or resource sinks, since current Melvor mastery, general skills, and township sound like they give the player plenty of extra resources. The major resource sinks right now are food and combat and summoning, but only for maybe mid-early game players.
Yeah, I guess Township in a way is a resource sink in a way where the amount of resources you have and the amount of resources you convert into Township will determine how fast you actually complete that. If you're an experienced player or you're a late game player with a stockpile of resources, you can go into Township, convert all of that to get that head start and get that fast early game experience. Another resource sink, I guess, is the way that combat has been designed is that you're gonna need to be using almost all of the game to get through all the content, and that alone, like the potions, the summoning synergies, your consumables for like rune crafting and stuff, will be utilized quite heavily, and you're not really want to gonna, I guess, cheap out on your resources and skip a few things. You're gonna want to need to use everything. But in terms of the other resource sinks, not necessarily.
Okay. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Foxy. I hope that answered your question. And then the questions in are coming in so fast. We're gonna try and get to as many as we can. So we'll bring the next one up, and it is from Red Mongoose 42, and it will be: will the add-on be localized at the release date in different languages? The
The
expansion.
expansion,
Hmm.
yes. The expansion
Yes.
will be completely localized into all languages on release.
Yes, it will. Sorry, I just saw a really funny question. We're not going to answer it, but it's. Are you worried this is too much at once? Oh, wait, now I get it. That's actually a genuine question. I thought it just meant like the stream and everything. Like, are you worried this is all too much? But what about the expansion? That's actually a great question. We will throw that one on up there. That's from Brian underscore Buros. Buros. Are you worried that this is all too much? All the content coming out for this one expansion?
Um, no, I don't. I don't think it's too much, mainly because of how long everyone's been waiting for some content. Everyone has been
That's
wanting
true.
new content, so I thought, you know what?
Hmm.
How about I just double the amount of content in the game, and here you go, have it. So
Let's
I
just
don't
copy
think
paste.
it's too much. It has taken uh, all of us and all of our resources to develop and produce this expansion. This is like everything that we've grown to, all the help from the community and all the help from like Cool Rocks and stuff. Everything has
Hmm.
been put into this expansion, and I hope that the amount of content we do bring you will be worth it. Even township and all the combat stuff and non-combat, and even the mod support stuff.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm sure players. I mean, the most thing I'm seeing is they're like, "Oh, thanks, Max. We love you for your hard work. Ah, thank you so much. That's so nice." But how much work, how much effort you put in, and you literally are doubling the game. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I think people would be happy. Then our next question actually comes from Mr. Captain Ducky, and it says, "Can we view different equipment sets without equipping them?"
That was something in the pet peeves thread, the
Hmm.
UI pet peeves. It's definitely something I want to hopefully get in for the expansion where you can view your sets without actually switching
Hmm.
a set. So that's definitely something that's high on my priority list to get in.
Thank you for asking that, Mr. Captain Ducky. We are on it. We're working on it. And again, that's why that thread is so important. So we really appreciate the feedback from players like you. Let us know since you guys play so much, all the hours. Okay, then our next question is coming from JJ48. And it says, will the new summoning familiars use new materials to make them, or will it be existing ones? Maybe a combo.
Summoning the new,
Phone a friend.
the new familiars. They use pre-expansion recipes as well as expansion recipes. Mainly expansion recipes, but I believe you can
Okay.
use non-expansion items for those as well. I'll
We're seeing a
confirm that.
Pratt check. Can we have a Pratt check, please?
Yes, it's a Pratt check. Yep.
Pratt check. Okay.
Yeah.
He's just over there. Okay, Pratt, stop lurking. Nah. Exclamation point plushie. Everyone said hi, Pratt Rock, Pratt Jam. Let's go. Okay, then let's keep going. We have so many questions. Let's see. The next one is coming from RTV underscore Julukul or something. Okay, don't worry about it. Will urns be connected to crafting, or will the different levels of urns be given to you? I believe you touched on this just a little bit, but
Yeah, urns are crafted and then use them in alt magic to give you the prayer points. So you create them in crafting from the ash and some other material, I think, or unless it's just ash. I think I changed that. I'll confirm on release. And then you take that urn and you take it to alt magic to give you the prayer points for it.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Again, we will confirm. Seems like Maux doesn't know. No, I'm just kidding. Lots of things are always up in the air and changing. Open to discussion. Then our next question is coming from Prince Rupert, 1999. What's up, Prince Rupert? Hope you're doing well. The question is, will the modifier of doing 0 damage to ores be applicable to meteorite ores? Great question.
To meteorite ores,
Mm-hmm.
I believe yes. I believe it does affect it.
Do you want to check with Pratt?
Good idea. Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Sick. Okay, great. We love
Because
it.
because
Okay.
mining has changed quite a bit with like how the mechanics generally work.
Mhm. Mhm.
The only thing you will find, I guess I'll answer this one now just in case,
Mhm.
is they're not going
Mhm.
to work on the gem veins. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because that yeah the the potion and stuff for the no damage has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works with mining, and we've talked so much about what we can do about that. I think
Mhm.
it's mostly staying the same. There are a few things that we are still working on during playtest. Um,
Mhm.
so I guess I'll just stop talking because it's not confirmed.
It's just digging a hole. Yeah, we'll have a lot of clips of that. People will be
No one
pulling
quote
that one
any of
out for a
that.
while.
Don't quote that.
Okay. I want that on live stream fails immediately. Link us
Uh,
in the Discord. Okay. So let's keep going before Mouse
whose idea
keeps
was the
going
live
any
Q&A?
further.
Everyone, come on.
I think it was yours.
Yeah, it was.
Crazy. I thought it was mine. Oh, okay, sick. Well, this is only your fault. So then, speaking of ores, because I believe we were speaking of ores before you went on the tangent, we have something from Beef Too Spicy, which is you mentioned new ores. How many new ores are going to be included in the expansion? Go ahead and ask Pratt.
No, I think I got this one. Because I was doing the artwork for it. I was getting the colors right for it. So we have one,
Okay.
I think there's 7 ores. Ores. One new type of rune essence, and
Hmm.
2 gem veins. 2 gem veins. So all up, you
Okay.
have 10 new mining things. Yeah, 10. So yeah,
Okay. Okay.
7 ores and other miscellaneous stuff. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. 7 ores pog. We love it. Someone said, yeah, you were very convincing with the I think there.
Tell you what,
Love it.
like,
I mean,
one of the crazy things about the expansion is because of how big it is, and once you
mhm,
get to that final stages of development and you start playing it in full, things change
mhm,
so much. Like we've gone
yeah.
through it and gone, why did we plan that? Why did we do it like that? And then we change it, or like what ores are prior, or
Hmm.
what mechanics go. Why did we decide to do that in planning? Because when we're playing it, it's like, oh, what the hell, this sucks.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Which is
things have
kind of what happened.
changed quite a lot now that we have like an expansion that we can play in full.
Exactly, exactly. So Malx, or chat, you need to give Malx a break, okay? He's trying his best. Things are always changing, which is really exciting, but does make for some moments where maybe you just don't clip them. Okay, we're gonna keep going on, and our next question comes from Mind of an Alien, which is, will the rework for astrology and woodcutting be free? I know it's not a rework. That's my fault for calling it a rework earlier. Sorry, chat. It's not a rework technically.
What's this
Now
for?
you can answer. Will you didn't listen? Will the I'm just kidding. Will the
I
rework
was.
for astrology and wood cutting be free? Yes or
Yes.
no?
Yeah, the rework,
Yes. It's not a
new fire
rework.
making mechanics, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's for everyone. It's free.
Awesome. And that is great. It is free chat. Okay, then our next question comes from Sound of Trance, which is, how long do you think it'll take to get back up to 100% after the update for all of our completed players?
From your
I think
last
that's hard.
play session, when you had 100% and you logged into the expansion, what did it go down to? Lost like 31% completion. Yeah. It'll probably take you like 2 or 3 months to get back up to 100% completion. However, the way completion's going to work will be different because it is a paid expansion, or there is a paid aspect to the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to
Mm-hmm.
be gated behind. You're not going to, you know, upgrade to the expansion then lose your 100%. We're going to be working on something to differentiate like two different completions for those, just so they're kind of separate. So you have like 100% completion in the base game, and then like 100% completion in the expansion. Well, I'd say roughly 2 to 3 months it will take you if you're
Okay.
efficient.
Okay. If you're efficient, you heard that, chat. You heard that. You could play, you could take your time, but it'll be about 2 to 3 months is what we're expecting. But you'll have to let us know when it releases. You can tell us who a race to completion. Maybe we can make that work. Then the next question is coming from Crepersaurus, and the question reads: This is going back to township. Does that mean that moving materials into the bank would give you access to materials that you wouldn't be able to access normally, like redwood before being able to woodcut it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. No.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
No. Next.
you'll need to be able to obtain that resource yourself naturally to be able to convert it out of township. We can't. It's not a method to fast track getting resources. You still
Okay.
need to be able to do it yourself. It's just a method to acquire more passively, depending on how big and how efficient your town has been made.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And you heard it here. You can't use it to cut around. Then the next question is coming from one und one un two. I'm saying your name wrong. I apologize. The question is, will it be detrimental to have finished the previous content? Question mark. Should we start a new run with this expansion?
I'd probably suggest if you are, say, like Max Cape, or you've defeated the final dungeon in the current content, don't start again. Because the paid aspect is from level 100 to level 120. So all you'll be doing is restarting the game, replaying the game, I guess, with Township and the reworks and stuff, which would be good in itself. But I think if you are up to the point and you're ready to tackle the 120 content, just do it. Don't restart. That's just my personal
Just do
opinion.
it. And again, it's however you want to do it, but you heard it here. You know what Malx would do. You know what Malx would do. All right, then the next question comes from another great person, Dead. How you doing, Dead? Again, off topic. Uh, chat. Okay, how many cats can I buy from Malx Cats? Important questions.
5.
Only 5? Come on.
What do you mean
Okay.
only 5?
What do you mean only? That's not that. That's not enough. What's confusing about that? Chat's agreeing. More cats. Only 5. Only 5. Exactly.
There's
You mean how
only
many cats do you
so
want?
many that we can keep in store for months, stocked on the shelves. So I think 5 is 5 is a good start.
Stocked on the shelves. Okay, maybe we don't want to support Malk's Cats, chat. I don't know. It doesn't sound like a good place. Okay, next question. Let's see. So, another question from Prince Rupert. How you doing, Rupert? The question is, will there be an end of the development for our towns, and or will the numbers go up without a limit?
There will be an end. So one thing Township has is a limit to how many buildings you can have built. So once you do reach that limit of having the maximum amount of buildings active, uh, that's kind of when you go, oh, okay, I can't really expand any further. You can only work
Mm-hmm.
on your town and just make it more efficient with the space you've got. So it's
Okay.
not infinite. There is, yeah, a set amount of
Mm-hmm.
spaces you can build on.
Perfect. Perfect. Which makes good sense for that. And then let's see, we have a question from Mazunki. What's up, Mazunki? And the question is, how's mod support going?
Great. We've had the couple of the script developers testing it out. It's almost in a state where it's kind of ready to go. One thing we're focusing on at the moment is creating some APIs that the developers can take advantage of. Those who do want to create mods for the game, to utilize and create these mods with ease rather than like kind of directly altering the code of the game. So we're giving you a set of tools accessed within the game that you can then create your own mods with. So mod support's going fantastic. You know, it's the mod browser in game is great. The way it works is great. Through testing it, it seems quite stable as well. It's very easy to use, very quick. It works on every single platform the game's on, and the mods are active at all times, like the ones that you choose. So if you do install one on desktop and you load it up on mobile, it'll be there.
Perfect. Perfect. So there was a little update for you. It's crazy, Max. I'm not sure if you have chat open. I keep seeing people mention like a timer or something, but I don't know what they're talking about. I'm not sure if you saw those.
What timer?
It's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy. Okay, well, we only
Are
have
we out
a
of time?
few
Is that
questions.
hmm,
No, no, we have
no?
a little bit more time
Okay.
left, so that's
I have no idea what they're
crazy.
talking about.
Yeah, I think they're not. Okay, maybe they're drinking something. All right, then our next question is going to be, let's see. Ooh, great question from Little Mike DeBomb. Little Mike DeBomb. I'm probably saying that wrong too. I'm so sorry. Will we have two capes for each skill? One for 99 and one for 120.
Yep. You
There
are.
you go.
You're gonna have you're gonna get a skill cape, the same one at level 99, which you can then use in your journey to level 120. And when you do reach that level 120, you're getting a new skill cape. It's basically the direction we've gone for these skill capes is that it's a better version of the previous one.
Okay, I mean, that's exciting, but still very teasing. We're seeing some question marks in chat. Probably nothing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there is no timer. I don't. What are you talking about, guys? Okay, then let's see. I think we have time for a couple more questions. Let's see what we have here. We already answered that one. So we have one from Radiant Light number one, which is with the new ores being available, does that mean new smithing options will also be available?
There is probably like 4 new tiers of smithing gear being made available to you. I think in total there's like 59 or 60 new smithing items for you to create. And this also feeds into stuff like fletching for like new javelins and new crossbows and all that kind of stuff. Anything that would use a bar, there's definitely more tiers for you to use that to your advantage. And there's a few other ores in there that once you see them, you'll know what to use them for. But there's a few other ores that have a different purpose.
Okay, okay. So exciting. There will be some more items there. Then we actually got a really great question that just came in from Forfeit. And it is when you guys started Melvor, did you imagine it going in this direction? Did you imagine being in this partnership, being in the UK and JagX right now?
Not at all. I had absolutely no idea that this would happen. You know, Melvor, for those that don't know, Melvor was my way to learn how to code. I didn't know how to code JavaScript at the time. I dipped my toes in coding very minor amounts throughout like my teenage years and stuff. And I was like, okay, I want to learn JavaScript. I want to make a game. So let's give this a go. And then, yeah, like since then, it's just been a wild ride, you know, like I had absolutely no idea that it would get to this point. The fact that I'm partnered with Jagex, you know, the company
Hmm.
that directly inspired the creation of Melva Idol is just absolutely surreal. And I'm literally sitting on the opposite side of the world in their
Yep.
HQ doing a live stream for everyone, meeting everyone. You know, it hasn't really sunk in just yet, and I do have to pinch myself a lot about it. Um, but yeah, it's just absolutely surreal to see how far the game has come, and I'm coming up to 3 years on it. Like 3 years already.
Yeah,
Like
three
where has this
years.
time gone? It's hard to it's hard to put words into exactly like how I feel about it because it has left me speechless quite a bit. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just something I never would have imagined to
Absolutely.
happen.
Absolutely. It's insane. And uh yeah, everyone in chat, I don't know about you, I have goosebumps. 3 years, wow. Yeah, let that sink in. Feels weird, man. It's so, so great. And yeah, COVID did make time probably fly by even quicker. It gave you time to focus on the game with that too. Then, unfortunately, chat, that's the time we have today, folks. I hope you had fun. I mean, we want to make sure we do another live stream like this. I think. Oh, actually, are we getting a call from someone? Is someone? about. Do we have someone else? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, hello
Hello.
there.
Hey, Monks. Hey, Straw Hat.
Hi.
I'm
How
here to
are you
announce the
doing?
additional. Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. I'm just here to announce the additional game mode being released right now. Hardcore combat only speedrun. It's live now. Good luck and goodbye.
We love it. Let's go, Ash. So, if you didn't hear that, he just popped on in. Let you know, hardcore combat only speedrun mode is live now, guys. Go and try it out. Let us know what you think. And thank you again so much for watching. That was insane. We got Mod Ash to come. This is the power. All right, everyone, have a great day.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
We'll see you
I
next
really
time.
hope to show you more soon. Thank you.